thank you for being here with us. Um, I'm so grateful to BC and to Alex with the Office of the Secretary of State here in New Mexico. BC is the Election Outreach Coordinator. Alex is the Communications Director with Secretary of State. And we are just grateful to have them here today to bring in important information to help us vote and all the ways to do so, why it's important. Um, EC, I will let you take it over, but if anyone has technical difficulties or questions, feel free to write it in the chat. I will help you there. And then there will certainly be some time to ask questions if you'd like. But I will hand it over to BC. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Hi, everyone. My name is B.C. Nguyen. I'm serving at the Office of the Secretary of State as Elections Outreach Coordinator. And again, with me today is Alex Curtis, the Communications Director to the Secretary of State. We are very honored that you are here today. And our office would like to send immense gratitude to Santa Fe Public Library, especially Jessica, for hosting this webinar in this election season. We are aware that today is a day full of events in Santa Fe. This beautiful morning, we are very happy to fulfill our commitment to host this town hall about elections as part of the events in Santa Fe. The format of our hour together is very simple. Alex and I will present briefly on the facts and update you all on elections news and voting. Then the floor is open for question and answer. And at any time you have questions during our presentation, please feel free to type your questions in the chat box. And Alex and I will try our best to address the questions during the Q&A or even during our speech. I'm going to kick us off with some very basic facts about voting in New Mexico. And then after that, halfway through, Alex will update on election laws, news, updates, and a few other concluding points. So I'm also sharing my screen here on Zoom. Yes. Okay. So the Secretary of State is New Mexico's Chief Elections Officer. Her name is Maggie Toulouse Oliver. She is responsible for overseeing the entire election process in our state. This includes maintaining the state's registered voter list, testing and evaluating voting machines, and certifying precinct boundary maps. Each county in New Mexico got a county clerk. Santa Fe County Clerk is Catherine Clark. Our clerks are responsible for overseeing elections like right now, the regular local election, maintaining records, and performing other duties as required by law. And in each municipality, the municipal clerks are the vital link between citizens, the city council, and city departments, ensuring transparency and accuracy and professionalism in all that we do. So all of our officials share the same value, and it is this, that your vote matter. Voting matters. Voting is how we make our voices heard about the issues that matter to us most. Voting is how we shape the future of our communities, and every vote matters, especially in local and state elections, which is this year local election, where margins can be very small. The civic rights and duty of voting has a long history, and it is rooted as deep as our nation is old. So I'm going through a very few basic historical milestone in our very briefly on our voting rights history. Um, So we start with the 15th Amendment to the Constitution when African American men gained the right to vote. Then women gained the right to vote with the suffrage movement in the early 20th century. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 bans all discriminatory practices such as poll taxes or literacy test. Then most recently, the 26th Amendment lowers the voting age to 18 years old. The history of voting rights include victories gained here in our great state of New Mexico. So up until 1948, after the Second World War, Native Americans were declined the right to vote. Thus, they were disenfranchised. Returning veteran Miguel Trujillo, returning from the Second World War, he was from Isleta Pueblo. He was not allowed to vote when he came to the office of the county to register. So he basically couldn't vote in the country that he had served. He was rejected when he tried to register. So Mr. Trujillo brought the matter to court and successfully campaigned for the right of all Native Americans in the land to vote. So that's happened right here in our state in Valencia County. Started from Valencia County. So in modern day New Mexico, efforts continue to ensure equity and access for all New Mexicans. In 2023, the Voting Rights Act further strengthened access for Native American communities. In this same law, formerly incarcerated individuals, upon their release, are restored the right to vote. So this amazing national and state history gives me a lot of confidence in our democracy. So let's take a look at the basic steps we can take to exercise our right to vote. First, how do we register? Um, in in order to vote in order to vote to register to vote, you must be an American citizen, a resident of New Mexico, and at least 18 years old by election day. This year, it's going to be November 5th this year. So I'm gonna these two next points, I'm gonna let Alex go more in depth. So in our state now, we do have pre-registration for youth who are at the age of 17 so that they can vote. Their voter registration is active for when they turn 18 by the next election. And again, now New Mexicans who left prison behind will be included in our democracy. And so as long as an individual is no longer confined to a jail, prison, or other correctional facility, they can register and vote in New Mexico elections. I'm also wanting to emphasize that a very meaningful and important program at our office, and it is called the Safe at Home program. The program helps survivors of domestic violence or sexual assault or violent survivors of stalking to receive. So the program helps these individuals by helping them receive mail, not using their address, but using the Secretary of State office address. And this would replace their address. So meaning it would keep the actual address confidential. And this program and this premise denies the abusers or stalkers the opportunity to use public record to continue to abuse or stalk the participant in the program. So participation in the Safe at Home program allows eligible voters to apply to vote as an absentee voter. So this is a very, in my view, very important and necessary program that our office offer. And so I like to spread the words about our Safe at Home program. Now, how to register in New Mexico? We have many ways to register. Um, First, we can register online. However, for this year election, the deadline to register online has passed. So then, next one is at the MVD. Automatic voter registration is available. So Alex will also discuss more of this development in his update in a few minutes. For now, you can go to our county clerk office to register in person. In Santa Fe, it's on Grant the address is 100 Grant Street, I believe. Well, I'll fact check it at the end. There's the address at the end here. And we can also right now, early voting is going on. So a person who is not registered but eligible to vote can go to a polling place and register. You get in line to register for the line is called same day registration. And then that takes about 5 to 7 minutes. Then they can go to the casting to receive their ballot and cast their ballots. Again, for participants of Safe at Home program, they can apply in person at the Secretary of State's office or mailing a voter registration card. So that's we. Now let's talk about ways to vote in New Mexico. This is again very basic information, but it's worth mentioning different ways to vote. And I would tie it with the important dates for this year election as well, because there is some deadlines that for example, for vote by mail or what we call absentee ballot. There are three ways to vote. The first way is we can vote by mail, which so mailing an absentee ballot is how we call it. A person can request an absentee ballot to be mailed to their address by requesting online or from their county clerk. Online is going to nmvote.org or going to our Santa Fe County Clerk's office to request an absentee ballot. And so the deadline to do that is by October 21st, so another 3 days. Um, so, and then to increase confidence in absentee ballots mailing, voter can track their absentee ballot using this link here, sos.nm.gov/track-my-ballot. So it's like tracking your delivery package, basically. The deadline this year, again, is to request an absentee ballot by October 21st. The second way to vote is before the election. We like to think of election as a season, almost like Christmas is a season, not just Christmas Day. So right now, early voting is happening, and voters can vote early at and in person at early voting locations. So this year, it has started since October 7th and will end November 1st. So we can check our polling location online at nmvotes.org or by calling our county clerk's office. Then the third way, of course, is to vote on election day. This year, election falls on a Tuesday. I said before it's November 5th, but it's actually November 4th. November 4th, 2025. You can vote at any polling location in our county, or you can vote at voter convenience centers. So voter convenience centers, just a note, these are an alternative to traditional neighborhood-based precincts. So on election day, voters can cast their ballots at any voter convenience centers in their jurisdiction, regardless of their residential address. So multiple ways, multiple days, multiple locations to vote in New Mexico. With that, I'm yielding the mic to Alex to explain what's on the ballot for different types of elections and update us on new laws and policies.
Thank you, BC. Hi, everyone. Yeah, let me just pull up my screen here. Yeah, so just to continue on with what BC was saying, again, basic information, but these are the different types of elections that we have in New Mexico. Um, General elections, primary elections, the regular local election, which is happening now, and then there's also special elections that might happen on an ad hoc basis. If those do happen, they are all mail elections in New Mexico now. So again, another reason to make sure you use your absentee ballot and track it with our track your ballot feature. Um, uh, as we say here, of course, with different elections, different positions, different questions on the ballot. Right now, of course, the applicable one is the regular local election that BC just outlined. As you may recall, we used to have multiple elections throughout the year, especially when it came to the smaller races, mayoral, municipal positions, ballot questions, that kind of thing. We've consolidated those into one regular local election a few years ago, and that helps with people know that there's always an election in early November every year, whether it is a primary election or whether it's a general election or a regular local election. Primaries are in June. But yeah, so that's what's going to be on the ballot this year. For those of you obviously in Santa Fe, you're going to be voting on things like mayor, city council. There's school board members, soil and water district conservation members, stuff like that. So check the Santa Fe County Clerk website. They've got a great list of things that you will be seeing on your ballot. You can also visit nmvote.org, which has, I believe, been mentioned a couple times. That's our main voter portal, and that is where you can also download a specific sample ballot so you can see exactly what you'll be voting on. You can fill it out before you go, make the process that much quicker. So that's what you'll be seeing on the ballot this year. For the next slide, we wanted to, kind of as an overview, as a voter 101, that we're calling this presentation. Wanted to take you through a couple of things that you may have heard about in the news recently or over the last few years, just so you're caught up on some of the new laws and policies that are in place in New Mexico when it comes to voting in elections. So just to go over a few top lines of those, one that was already mentioned, automatic voter registration. We've had a version of this in place in New Mexico for a few years, but just this past July, it became fully automated. And so whenever you go to the MVD now, you will, at the end of your transaction, you will be offered an opportunity either to vote or to register to vote if you are not currently registered, or to update or change your registration. And so this is just another way to increase participation, helps us with accuracy of our voter rolls. So it's a really great program that's out there, and it's offered through MVD in partnership with our office. Something else that BC did already mention, these next two, we have in the past few years started to allow formerly incarcerated individuals to vote immediately upon their release. There used to be quite a cumbersome process that people who were getting out of incarceration had to navigate in order to regain their voting rights. And now we make it much easier for formerly incarcerated people to vote. As long as you are not currently incarcerated, you are able to vote in New Mexico. Another thing, I believe BC mentioned a really great program that's been in place for a long time here in New Mexico now. We have pre-registration for 17-year-olds. So if you are a youth or know someone, a young person who is at least 17 and will be 18 by the next election, you can go on nmvote.org, or you can use a paper voter registration form, register to vote. Now we call it pre-registration. And then basically once you turn 18, you're automatically registered to vote. You will receive your voter card in the mail, and you can participate in any election going forward. So just another thing we'd like to make sure people know about, especially people who have young people in their life. Of course, feel free to share that with them. They might not otherwise know that, which is why we are trying to focus more of our outreach efforts on young people in the state. One other thing that you may have uh, heard about recently is we now have open primaries in New Mexico, meaning that if you are not affiliated with one of the major parties, Republican or Democrat are I believe, the only current major parties in New Mexico. The Libertarians did lose their major party status recently. But if you are not a Republican or a Democrat, if you go, you can, when we have primary elections, this will be next June, you can go decide, do I want to vote on, the Republican ballot or the Democratic ballot, and choose right there and vote right there in that primary. So it broadens participation and allows more participation from those voters that used to be pretty much just frozen out of the primary process. So yeah, so those are just some of the new laws and policies that are in place that you may have heard of that we wanted to take you through. And just so getting towards the end here, just a couple more things that, as a Voter 101 presentation, we want to make sure that people know about. These are kind of some of the back end things that keep our elections secure and keep our votes secure. If you may not have known, New Mexico has been ranked the #1 in the nation for how we conduct our voting and elections. And a lot of these things on the screen here are what contributes to that. What contribute to that ranking. For one thing, all of our ballots in New Mexico, every person who votes in New Mexico votes on a paper ballot. So that is a very important thing that not all states have been doing, but a lot of states are getting back to doing. It's very important for having a paper record always available for audits. If there's any discrepancies, if we have to go back and look at the votes, there's always physical copies of them. They won't get deleted or hacked or anything like that. Again, we have mandatory post-election audits. So these are after every single election, you have independent auditors verifying the accuracy of the election, and that's after the counties verify the accuracy of the election, and then the Secretary of State's office verifies the election. So multiple layers of security there. Voter rolls, as we mentioned a few times, are regularly maintained, verified, protected. Some of the things we do with MVD, like I mentioned, even help us to create even more accurate rolls. We share data with other states, share data with the different departments inside of New Mexico. When people die, when they move, it's all ways in which the voter rolls are updated and maintained on a continual basis. So those are just a couple things to reinforce the idea that your vote is secure and confidential and counted always. One thing I will mention that has been in the news that some people may have seen recently, the vendor of our voting machines in the state used to be the company used to be called Dominion Voting Systems. They were in the news a lot in the past few years because of a bunch of kind of lies and libelous claims about their voting machines in the 2020 and 2024 elections, but they have been sold to a person who the company is now going to be known as Liberty Vote. And there has been some concerns that we've received from the public about that sale, but just want to kind of reiterate that that sale will have no impact on the voting experience for New Mexicans. All the equipment is the same. It's all verified. It's all certified. It will be the same at polling places. It's really just a back end thing from the company side. One person bought this company, and we just wanted to kind of get that out there that that people should have full confidence in our voting systems, all of them in New Mexico, because they are up to date and follow all state and federal guidelines. So with that, just the last kind of thing that I'll say is encourage your involvement. Please register. As BC said, we have lots of different ways that you can register, just like we have lots of different ways that you can vote, in person early voting, using an absentee ballot. We try and make voting as accessible as possible in New Mexico while still maintaining high levels of security. So again, talk to friends and family about getting involved, young people specifically. nmvote.org, again, is our main voter portal. So there's lots of stuff on there, information about upcoming elections, the ability to register to vote, update your registration, find polling locations, information about your county clerk, lots of things like that. We would also encourage, especially again, young people, but anyone, to become a poll worker. This is again something that is done through the counties, so feel free to reach out to them if that's something that you are interested in. It's a great way to learn about the voting process. You do make a little bit of money, and it's essential. We can't run elections without poll workers, and many states have struggled with them. We do not struggle as much with them, but I'm sure your county clerk would still be very happy if they if you were willing to work the polls, at least some during this or in a future election. And so with that, yeah, just sos.nm.gov is our main website, or also nmvote.org will get you there. Encourage you to come to us with any questions or concerns that you may have. And and again, in our last slide here is again just some reiterating some of our contact, some ways that you can contact us, the Santa Fe County Clerk's Office, our social media pages. So stay in touch, and really appreciate your participation here today.
Thank you, Alex. So this is the end of our planned presentation. And so if the floor is now open for any questions from the audience.
If you'd like to ask a question or make a comment, you can also raise your hand and I can unmute you if you'd like to ask. You can also write it in the chat box. But this was a great presentation with very clear information. It was really well done. Thank you so much for presenting this. We can make available the recording as well afterwards. Yeah, but I think you guys were so clear that there's no questions right now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jessica, and thank you for coordinating and collaborating with us. This has been the second time that we get to host a town hall on elections at Santa Fe Public Library. The first one was in person. The second one is online. And so we got to reach people where they are. And I don't see any questions right now. But of course, if any of our constituents here in Santa Fe or across the state have any concerns or questions or clarifications about voting or new election laws and news, please send us an email to elections@sos.nm.gov. And again, early voting is happening, so we can all let our voices be heard and choose the next crop of leaders who will lead our communities for ourselves, our families, our children. Thank you so much. And I can see a chat here. Let me see. Oh,
Just put
thank
the
you.
elections@sos.nm.gov in the chat in case you want to copy that. And we can also
Awesome.
get you copies of these slides as well.
Correct. Yeah. Um, Thank you. And so I think since we don't have any questions here, I guess we can conclude our virtual town hall today. And I hope everybody is enjoying the amazing weather we have in Santa Fe, including you too, Jessica.
Thank you. Thank you so much, BC and Alex. Appreciate you sharing this information. It's very important, the work you do. So thank you for bringing it to the library and our community.
Absolutely.
Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.
Yes, you too. And goodbye.